Hello and welcome to the Down Under Visa Philippines to Australia podcast series. I'm your host, Jeff Harvie, registered migration agent with Down Under Visa, the premier Australian migration agent in Manila, Philippines, specialising in visas for Australian Filipina couples. We hope you enjoy this podcast and hope it proves useful to you. Please feel free to share this with your partner and with any of your interested friends. Let's get started. Okay, today's podcast, it comes from the blog article, Advantages of Applying for a Partner Visa Offshore. Offshore, of course, means not inside Australia, so technically anywhere, but of course we're referring to applying in Manila, Philippines. So, what is an onshore visa and what is an offshore visa? Now, once upon a time there were very few onshore partner visas for Filipino visa applicants. To those who are not sure what I mean by this, an onshore visa application means a visa application lodged inside Australia while the visa applicant is inside Australia. An offshore visa application means a visa application lodged outside of Australia. Now, for the last 3 years or so, an onshore partner visa and the onshore tourist visa suddenly became possibilities. Why? Hey, the dreaded condition 8503, which means no further stay, it stopped being a standard. Now, this condition used to be applied to nearly all tourist visas out of Manila. The occasional tourist visa didn't have this, but for many years you could pretty much guarantee this would be applied when we applied for a tourist visa from Philippines to Australia. If somebody would say, oh, okay, well, look, we're here in Australia, we want to get married and apply, you'd say, okay, what does your visa does your visa grant have condition 8503, and they always did, and you have to say, well, sorry, you need to come back, because that's what it means. It meant that unless the condition could be waived, the applicant could not lodge a visa application while they were inside Australia, and a partner visa onshore was a pipe dream. So if they had a 3-month stay, they needed to be on a plane and out of there before that ran out. It was as simple as that. And as I said, it was, pretty stock standard. You could set your watch by it. You applied, that was what it always had, that condition. But then suddenly they stopped applying them. So the 8503 didn't disappear as a possibility. It's still there in the legislation, and if they wish to apply it, then yes, they can. All we can really say is for our own clients, and that is that we haven't seen one for a down under visa client for well over 1,000 tourist visas ago. And what it means is that those clients with no restriction are free to apply for another visa whilst inside Australia, and many do. Australian offshore visas versus onshore visas. Now, while I was writing this article, which was about a month ago, I was looking at new visa sign-ups for the month of October, and at that time I could see that, at that point, so far 2/3 of the partner visa applications for that month were offshore partner visas. In other words, subclass 300 prospective marriage visas and subclass 309 partner visa offshore applications, and 1/3 of them were for onshore partner visas. Is it the same every month? No, sometimes more onshore than offshore, but it's balanced out about half and half. About half are offshore, about half are onshore. Now, to those who don't know, an onshore partner visa generally means being together sooner. Now, they usually take longer to process when compared to those processed in Manila, in fact, usually considerably longer, but the visa applicant gets to remain during the long processing time on a bridging visa A. Now, they can work on this bridging visa and they can study, and most importantly, they don't need to return. They can just wait out the visa processing time. So it's not really a bad deal at all when you think about it. And, to those who think that Australia is excessively tough, there aren't too many countries in the world which will allow somebody to remain in that country while they're waiting for a visa to be processed. The normal deal is no visa, no entry. They wait until somebody is actually assessed as being worthy of a visa before they allow them to stay in the country. But Australia allows somebody to remain, allow them to apply for Medicare, allow them to work, study, do all of those things while they're waiting for the visa to actually be processed, regardless of how long it takes. So, yeah, it's not, you can't call that unkind, you really can't. But if that's such a good deal, why do couples still opt for offshore partner visas or prospective marriage visas, which is also known as a fiancee visa? Why do they do that? Well, look, we don't always ask. We give clients options, invariably when somebody does an assessment. Well, we will give them a few options. Of which way they could go, and we let them choose. We never force them to do anything unless it's something that's totally unworkable, where we still don't force anybody, of course, but we just wait for logic to prevail if what they're suggesting is ridiculous. We ask where people wish to marry, and based on that we give options of onshore or offshore visas. Now, some choose onshore, others choose offshore. Now, we don't argue. If somebody says this is what I want, we go, no problems, we'll make it happen. However, I will give you some reasons why I think many are choosing offshore partner visa applications, as well as where I know why they're choosing offshore. So what's the problem with onshore partner visa applications? Well, applying for a partner visa onshore is high pressure. Now, it can be made easier, especially if you use down on visa, but you still have pressure because you have deadlines. And look, I don't know about you, but I absolutely hate deadlines, and if I can do something without a deadline, I'll choose that, absolutely. You have tasks you have to do, and you have a date where everything needs to be done by. And that date, of course, is the date of the current visa, usually a tourist visa, the date that expires. Now, you need to lodge a complete and an excellent partner visa application before that date. So, why is this high pressure? Can't you just put it all together and lodge it before that date? Well, yeah, of course you can, and obviously you have to. But it is a lot of work. Now, we manage hundreds of partner visa applications every year, so we know exactly how much work is involved, but for most of you it's your first partner visa application, and many mistakenly assume it's maybe a few more documents additional to the tourist visa you did before, and or understand what a visa application is in the first place. Now, some think we can use what visa requirements were included in the last tourist visa as the basis of a new visa, and then add a marriage certificate and we're in business. Big mistake. We get that. So, do you still have you still have all the stuff we sent before? Well, yes, we do, but that's what they're thinking as well. Hey, we're already way ahead. Well, you're not really. Generally, you find that what you had submitted in a previous tourist visa application, it's probably out of date. There are different requirements. There are different quantities of what we need. We'll need a handful of something for a tourist visa, whereas we'll need a whopping big pile for a partner visa. So it's completely different. What you supplied in the tourist visa, a little bit can go towards it, but it barely makes a dent, honestly. Now, for a start, unless you're married before, then you will have a wedding to organise. And that takes time and effort. Remember, you need to give, if you're married in Australia, you need to give a month's notice. And what you'll find is that, you contact a married celebrant and they say, yeah, great, we can pencil you in for 6 months from now. Assuming you'll find a marriage celebrant or a church which says, yes, no problems, we can slot you straight in. Most marriage celebrants, most churches are booked many, many months ahead, so you've got that to deal with. So, and goodness me, if you've ever been involved in organising a wedding, there's a great deal to organise. There's a lot of stuff. And if instead you're applying based on a de facto relationship, well, then, okay, you don't have a wedding to organise, but that means you need to prove you are in a genuine and committed shared life de facto relationship that the immigration people will accept. So there you have even more work involved, probably about the same as organising a wedding, so you've got that on top as well. It is a great deal. So, yeah, don't assume that just saying, hey, look, we've been living together, that's enough. You could be living together with a flatmate. It doesn't make you a de facto couple. So, and if the application isn't complete when it's lodged, they may well refuse it. The days of putting in a skeleton partner visa application and waiting for them to tell you what's missing, these are long gone. They insist on decision-ready partner visa applications only, and they started insisting on that because what people were doing was, well, just that. They'd make a snap decision to decide to lodge a partner visa because the current visa was running out. They'd put it in with the bare minimum, and they'd sit back and wait to be spoon-fed through by the department, and for the department to go through and say, right, you need all of these things, and then they'd supply a little bit, and the department would get back to them and say, no, we need more of this, this isn't right, etc. Well, basically they got sick to death of it, and these days they insist that it is decision ready when it goes in, which means as close as possible to perfect when it goes in. So, and I'm trying to organise a wedding and trying to organise a partner visa application within the spate of a short tourist visa. Well, I wouldn't want to take that one on. So, advantages of applying for a partner visa offshore. Offshore partner visas are lodged when you are good and ready. Now, people ask us all the time, how long does it take to lodge a visa? Well, how long is a piece of string? Now, we've had people take a month to prepare a partner visa. I can remember a banking executive get all the personal information and visa requirements, documents, relationship evidence, etc. to us within a month, and we had that lodged within a month. Now, I wish everybody only took that long, but that was exceptional. And other clients, well, I suppose 2 to 3 months is fairly average when the application is fairly straightforward. Complicated applications, or maybe complicated people, they can, on some occasions, they can take over a year. And this is especially the case where there are legal problems with documents or annulments to sort out. Now, look, we stand by our clients, of course. If that's how long it takes, then that's how long it takes. We don't, give up on people because it takes too long. We remain here and we keep on helping. Problems with documents, especially NSO documents, are rarely the fault of the clients themselves, and we do understand that. It's usually something a helpful relative somewhere along the way led to that happening. Now, the point is that if it takes you longer to prepare an excellent offshore partner visa application, then, well, so what? You won't run out of time because there are no deadlines. There's no expiry dates. And if you're busy making a living and running a life, which is reality, I mean, you know, who has months of empty days where they can get up in the morning and say, right, let's get started on this here partner visa application. You know, most of the time you have, you know, you've got to mow the lawn, you've got to do the shopping, you've got to, you know, you've got to walk the dog, and, well, you've got to go to work, for goodness sake. So you've got all those things that you do need to do. And if your application is complicated, well, yeah, then you can take the time that's necessary to get it right without pressure to submit it before it's ready. And there's the prospective marriage visa option. Now, that which is another offshore option. It's not strictly a partner visa, but it's under, you know, the partner visa banner. So, yeah, it also means that if you choose a prospective marriage visa over an onshore partner visa, then you have 9 months for the visa holder to settle into Australia and to organise a wedding you'll both be happy with. Now, as I said before, weddings can take time. If you've got jobs to go to, lawns to mow, etc., it means you've got 9 months instead of 3 months, and that means a big weight off your shoulders. And it also means you have time for dealing with culture shock, especially for younger and less worldly Filipino visa applicants who've never been anywhere. And if you have kids, well, yeah, definitely easier, because you need to settle the kids into the school, and you've got to organise weddings, and then finalising offshore visa applications, you know, in 3 months. Well, it's not my idea of fun when you have lots to do. So no one is saying that one is good and one is bad. Now, is it better to apply for an onshore partner visa, or are there more advantages to applying for a partner visa offshore? Now, we do them all. So study the points in this article, and look, have a read of our website. We have a lot of articles there. We have a lot of pages on different types of partner visas, comparisons between them. Have a good read and make sure that you are educated in that, and we are very happy to help you. Thanks very much. Well, that brings us to the end of another episode of the Down Under Visa Philippines to Australia podcast series. Thank you very much for joining us. We hope you enjoyed, and we hope you found this useful. Australian visas from the Philippines are not easy, and the outcome matters, as you well know. Please feel free to contact us anytime if you need some further help. And we look forward to talking to you again next time. Bye-bye.